If that voice in the back of your head has been telling you to start a podcast and you haven't yet, well, then you're going to want to stick around for this episode because we sit down with my friend and client, Dave Rodriguez of Destiny Works, to talk about his experience over the last few months of launching a podcast for his business. He gives you all the ins and outs and all the highs and all of the lows as well. This is an awesome conversation that you're not going to want to miss. So let's get to it. Well, welcome back to another Coaching with Content podcast. My name is Darren. It's good to have you here. And normally we have our good friend Dustin Peed on, but not today. Not Dustin. We gave him the week off, and we have our client and good friend, Dave Rodriguez. Dave, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us today.
Thanks, Darren. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, Dave, you recently launched the Vitality Journey, right? A podcast to kind of go along with the business and what you're doing with your coaching and consulting within Destiny Works. And so where I want to start today is the Vitality Journey. What is it? Like, why is that important?
Yeah.
And why is it important to live a life of vitality?
Well, when we launched the company a number of years ago, our prime focus for years was mostly around what I call vocational health. Is what I'm doing in my work meaningful, which leads to the conversation of a calling and purpose.
Yeah.
And so we designed our personal coaching and our workshops for groups around that idea. Mm-hmm. So there's a story where the Vitality Journey was launched, and that was I had a client. I sat down with him for a follow-up conversation, and the process we walk people through is called the calling quilt. So I took him through the calling quilt. He got an idea of his purpose, knew what he was here for. But I walked in for a follow-up conversation, and I walk into the coffee shop. His elbows are on his knees, and his hands are holding his head. And I'm like, oh no. And so the conversation went like this. He said, thanks. The calling quilt was great. I have an idea what I want to do with my life. But.
Yeah.
And then he started to go down and talk about his physical health, his financial health. All of these things were suspect, or they were hurting.
Yeah.
Relational health, behavioral health. I mean, it was just like a litany. And I thought, okay, we focused on his calling and his purpose, but I don't know what to do now. I could pat him on the back and say, I wish the best for you, or I could dive in.
Yeah.
And like I said, his financial health wasn't that great, so there wasn't going to be
right. It wasn't going to be something for you there.
No, not going to be lucrative by any stretch of the imagination. But I thought, I cared about him. So at that point, I said, let's get together and start addressing these health factors in your life and see if we can come up with a strategy the Vitality Journey was built on the fly with him. At any rate, fast forward, it has become very important to us at Destiny Works, so much so that we decided, we want to be able to take this idea of vitality, living with a level of energy and passion, health span, as Dr. Peter Attia calls it.
Yeah.
We want to be able to help people do that. And so the Vitality Journey is helping people come up with a strategy for the 6 health factors of their life. And then we thought, well, maybe a podcast would help launch this. So that's how we got to where we are.
That's it. That's where we're at. And so I'd love to dig in a little bit more on that because that's super interesting to me. I'm somebody that loves the idea of, I hate to use the term self-help, but the idea of making life better. There's things that we can do that actually enrich our lives. And so you talked about the Vitality Quilt. Is that what?
No, the calling quilt is what we use to help people work on purpose or calling.
And that's where it started, right?
Well, that's where the whole thing, because our overall vibe is we're a mentoring organization. We do coaching and workshops, but we like to come alongside, what's the phrase? Come alongside people and help them figure out their next steps in their life.
Yeah.
The Vitality Journey is more holistic. Looking at all the health factors of their life and helping them come up with an actual working plan to address each area.
Yes. So walk me through the 6.
Well, there's physical health.
Yep.
There is relational health, emotional health, which is all the inside stuff.
Yeah.
behavioral health,
Okay.
financial health,
Yep.
and vocational health.
Yeah.
Those
I
are
put
the-
you on the spot to list all 6 of those real quick like that. So, yeah.
Fortunately, I was able to come
Well
up with
done.
them. Yeah.
Well done. I would have totally lost it at 4. I would have been like,
Yeah.
I can't remember. But no, that's interesting because I think what I think of in my own life is there might be times that I'm focusing on vocational health or physical health. Obviously, is a big one. We're recording this in January, so everybody's focusing on the physical side. But you're talking about emotional, and you're talking about financial, and there's
And
other
relational,
things. All of those woven together really kind of create that whole journey for somebody.
Well, and you can even have a person that's crushing it in 5 of those, and one of those areas, and their overall vitality plummets because one of the areas is really suffering.
Yeah.
So, but generally speaking, when I talk to people, I ask them to give themselves. This is all very subjective on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you physically? Where are you relationally? And it's fascinating. And then I ask them more specific questions, and then they realize, you know what? I need to pay attention to this.
Wow. Well, it's something that we don't think about often. Like, even in you saying, oh, thinking about the relational health, obviously with my kids and my wife, I think about that. But like, what does that look like in the whole being that I'm becoming, right?
Yeah. Here, let me see if you'd agree with this. I do think we think about these things, but not deep enough to do anything about it.
That's pretty. Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
Like I feel bad, or I feel like this isn't working, or so we can tell you, we're aware of these health factors. We just don't stop and say, all right, what are the steps to address it? Like get down to what are the habits that I need to institute that will actually move the needle on these health factors.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And I know that we've been working together here the last couple of months, and you've recently launched this podcast, but I was sitting in the last production where you and your co-host Dimitri walked through some of these things.
Yeah, we kind of walked each other through. We got coached each other.
Yeah. Oh, and it was so beautiful to see, because I think what you're saying is, we can all kind of think about it, but we don't stop and go deep enough to give ourselves that number, right? And then to really dig into it and go, is that the actual number? And then step in and having a conversation with somebody like yourself to really bring it to life is just, man, watching that live was just so beautiful to see the work in action of what you guys do with your clients. It's so cool. So cool. So, all right. So that brings us to, this is a Coaching with Content podcast, talking to a lot of coaches and consultants out there. One of our big things that we believe around here, obviously you've heard me say this ad nauseum at this point, is that a long form video podcast is the greatest way to get your information, your frameworks, the way you think out into the world. And so recently, we've dove into this endeavor of launching your podcast, The Vitality Journey. And so I just want to talk a little bit about your experience, some of the things beforehand, some of the things right now currently, because there might be somebody out there listening that's going, I think I want to start it, but I don't know what I don't know. And so we're going to kind of, you as somebody starting the journey, kind of have those conversations. So
I'm glad you said I don't know, because when you and I first sat down, I knew nothing, zero. So my starting point of podcasting was, you couldn't get much lower than where I was. I didn't know anything. I mean, I watched a few podcasts, but that's where I started.
Yeah, but to actually implement it into a business strategy or what you were doing was not, you were like not on your radar at that point.
No, several months ago. I mean, the key question for our company is, like a lot of coaches, how do I increase our clients, the number of clients? How do we take this thing which we believe in so deeply and get other people to consider it and say, you know what, I'm interested in that too. And so it was about, at its core, it was about how we increase our clients. That's where it started.
That's kind of the first catalyst, right? You're going, what do I do? And then you see things out there. People are creating content. Do we do short form content? Do we write blogs more? Do we do YouTube series? Like, there's all kinds of ideas out there.
Well, and so secondarily, yes, there are all kinds of ideas. I also realized as I was considering this is I do enjoy the content creation part. So a long form podcast fit me, and for my career up to this point, there's a lot of content creation, writing, speaking, those kind of things. And so the podcast not only we were hoping it would increase our clients, we'll see. And number two, it afforded me the opportunity to say some things that I believed in that I think is worthy of people taking in.
That's really good, and I want to dig in a little bit there on that, because that's what we say. Right now we find ourselves in this trust recession. Everybody's a little bit skeptical of everything going on. And now you sit down and you and Dimitri, your co-host, can have a long form conversation around these ideas. And it just allows you to share those thoughts, those opinions. And then as the viewer, right, we kind of get to be the fly on the wall and watch you work and hear your perspective and go, I like that. I align with that. I see the way that you see the world, and I want to work more with somebody like that. And that's the importance of what we're trying to do with a long form video podcasting. So talk to me then about, you and I had a couple of meetings, kind of pitched some ideas as far as what this could look like. It seemed like a good idea for you. Walk me through just what you were thinking before you said, hey, yes, let's do this. Like, obviously, like you said, trying to get clients in the door, trying to figure out how to grow the business. But like when you kind of went, this might be a good fit for me, what were some of those emotions and things that you were wrestling with?
Well, the emotions were clear. I mean, this is maybe an overstatement, but I was like, okay, there's some hope.
That's good.
I've got a little hope here. I didn't want to put too much pressure on you, Darren, but it was like, okay, maybe this will work.
Yeah.
And in talking with you, I realized, podcasting right now seems to be a form that makes sense for this time.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say, my relationship with social media is fraught. Okay. So
a lot of us probably feel the same way too.
Yeah. And it's like, the thing I was scared about was, okay, podcast, we could do that. We can create content, but how to get that into the world? And the beauty, honestly, what you offered was, let us help you do this, create the content, the packages, the clips, and so it made it much easier for a social media novice like me to say, I think this is going to work.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we try to do across the board. And what we talked about early on was the fact that what we want to make happen for you is you're really good at coaching. You're really good at teaching. You're really good at walking people through this process. And the minute that you put a podcast on, the minute that you put social media on, and now you're carrying the weight of that, it's just, you become like almost slave to that thing, right? And so for us, we're like, man, how can we walk alongside of you to relieve that pressure, to allow you to do what you do best, which is coaching, which is the whole purpose of coaching with content. This whole podcast idea is you coach with your content, and we just walk alongside of you and help you get those things in the way that's necessary.
Now, to be honest, you serve it on a platter to us, which is, we still have to go strategically decide what are we going to do with this on social media. Now, fortunately, I've got two younger coaches who work with me who are more digital native than I am. But I don't want to pretend that it's easy, because if I was doing this myself, and right now, this is we're 2 episodes in. We're going to shoot our 3rd today. But there's still, I still feel a little bit of that pressure. Because we haven't yet really hit the ground running on our social media presence.
Right.
We'll get there, but that's still something we have to do.
And that's a good point to bring out, Dave, is the fact that it's not necessarily easy now. You still have to put work into it. You still have to show up every day and do the thing, right? But ultimately, we get you as far as we can.
And you do. It's brilliant what you offer. I mean, so I don't want to undersell that. It's brilliant. You like I said, it's given us hope. But
That's good.
but what it's done, Darren, is it's made me look at what we do, how we do what we do differently. We've now inserted a podcast into the whole system, and we have to work differently now. I'm enjoying it, but we have to work differently.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that how you said that, into the system. And that's really our hope, is that this doesn't become just a fun little side project to do, but ultimately you're doing it to grow your business.
Absolutely.
And that's what, that's why we put in all of the work to make sure that those assets are working for you, and not just something cool that you go, hey, look, I'm on YouTube now. Look, Mom, I'm on YouTube.
That's not enough of a motivation for me. I got to tell you, I love. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy doing the podcast. And having Dimitri as a co-host. He's a great conversationalist.
Yes.
So it's easy to do it, but it's work.
Yeah, it is work.
It's work, and it's important work.
Yeah, and that's the thing to remember, is the important work, because much like, I love what you guys are doing at Destiny Works, in the sense of the vocational side of things, kind of where it started for you, is just helping you realize your calling and your purpose, right? That's really good. And then stepping into this whole vitality journey of the whole person, like, to us. I was telling the team the other day, I said it to them, I said, guys, you see that the work that we do every day gets to impact so many because we help you impact so many.
Yeah.
Right. So like, we get to have that like almost secondary hit because of us helping you, and you help the masses, if you will.
Oh yeah.
And
we've just been out a week and a half or 2 weeks now with the first episode.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, picked 2 people, reached out and said, I want that coaching.
That's awesome.
And I did a workshop for an organization here with the Vitality Journey. And so, you're not just vicariously experiencing what's happening in their life. You're what you guys are doing for us. Yeah. You're part of the pipeline of changing those people's lives. Yeah. I was with 45 people yesterday who, I guarantee you, now that they've gone through the workshop on Vitality Journey, they're going to tune into the podcast.
Yeah.
And their lives will continue to change.
Yeah. And that's so meaningful to us, and I hope that too, as we continue. Like, we're invested in it just as much at that point, right? Like, we want to see the people impacted and the lives changed, and to hear the stories. Like, we'll have different coaches or different companies we're working with share different things that have happened, and much like what you just said, standing in front of 45 people, they're going to take in this content, and I know that their lives would be different because of it. And it's just, man, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And so, hey, quick pause here. If you are thinking about starting a podcast, or have already started one, and it's not driving business results like you would like it to, we would love to help. At 1898 Creative, we install a proven podcast system, a strategy that helps you leverage your message to attract premium clients without adding more to your plate. So if you're ready to turn your podcast into an authority engine, book a call over at 1898creative.com, and let's build something awesome together. All right, now let's get back to the conversation. Let's go back then. Okay, so at first you're like, hey, I got a little bit of hope. There's some things I see the way that this could play out. It is a little bit of work to get it plugged in. So you reached out, you said, hey, let's do this. Mm-hmm. What was that moment there that you said, you know what, this is it. I think this is the thing that we got to try to make happen.
Well, it was, after you and I first talked about it, I sat down with my team, sat down with my board. Mm-hmm. It does cost something. So it's not like, we're going to have to, this is an investment. But the first emotion was, I had my wife and I were just talking about this yesterday, 2 conflicting emotions. On one hand, there's let's go.
Yeah.
And the other was, what have I done?
And they battle.
They battle on any given day. So the let's go is, I see the potential in this. Yeah. I'm excited about the possibility. The jury will be out for a while. Will this increase our clients? So, but there's something about that. And my personality is such that I always love the next hill. What's the next hill? Let's go. Yeah. That's me. But then there's the dude that's been doing this for many decades going, what have I done? What have I done? So those are the conflicting emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you handle that? What does that look like for you?
Well, I'm mission focused enough to say that's going to come with the ride. That's the ride we're on. And if we're going to accomplish it, we've got to work through the conflict on those.
Yeah.
Or not the conflict. It's not a conflict between those. It is just the reality of life.
Yeah.
There's some power and joy and let's forward motion. And then there's the, oh my gosh, I got to manage my life around this. What the heck have I done?
Yeah.
So it's just life management. And for me, this is just me, and this is just me being coachy here, I suppose.
Yeah. Coach us.
I think whenever we have life conflicts like this, the more we say it out loud, put it on the table in front of us and look at it, and especially with the people who matter, the better we're going to. So my wife and I, we talk about this all the time. And so there are days she commiserates with me, and there's other days she kicks me in the butt. And there's other days she's saying, stop, you know.
Yeah.
That's how I manage these emotions.
Yeah. Well, and that's really good because I help people start podcasts for a living. Now we're on quote unquote my podcast, and I freak out every time, right? Like I have the same emotions of what am I doing? Do I know what I'm talking about? Like all of the things that you're talking about happen to me too. Yeah. And so whenever I'm telling clients, just get on camera and just go do it, it's like, it sounds so easy.
Easy for you
and
to
I'm
say,
like,
yeah.
Trust me, I do it as well.
Yeah.
And it does freak you out a little bit. So yeah, that's good notice.
We live with that perpetual feeling like no one wants to hear what I say.
Yeah.
Nobody,
Yeah.
And so that's a constant management because, again, sorry, I'm going to go off here for a second.
Please do. Please do.
All coaches, no matter how confident we are, consultants, how confident we are and how we know our material, like everyone else, we're dealing with self-worth issues. Mm-hmm. And you throw yourself out into the internet with a podcast.
Yeah.
And that's all kinds of issues with self-worth. Well, then you're going, well, how many views, how many subscribers and those kind of things.
Stuck in the data real easy.
You get stuck in the data and you just get stuck in the image. Like, does anyone even like me?
Yeah.
It is the real struggle of doing what we do.
Yeah. And that's a good point to remember because as somebody that's just starting this process and getting out and you kick fear in the face and you said, let's go for it. Yeah. And now those emotions still rise. It doesn't mean it goes away. It doesn't mean that it's easy tomorrow just because you decided to do it. It means that the resistance still shows up.
Yeah. And it always will.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it. It'll get easier to do the thing.
Sure.
You sit down with your script or what are your questions, you sit down in front of the microphone, that gets easier. But what does not get easier is how it relates to who you are and how you see yourself in the process.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And that'll never go away.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's beautiful to think of it that way only because it makes everybody realize that they're not alone in that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The coaching community, I'm sure it's interesting. I think we all feel the same thing. We wouldn't do it if we didn't care about people.
Yeah.
Right? That's why you do coaching,
yes,
consulting. We care about the process, but at the same time, we have to manage us too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh man, that's good. And thank you for coaching us through that because man, knowing that you're not alone is a beautiful thing. Yep. And so let's talk a little bit here about You said it a minute ago. We're a week and a half-ish into releasing this thing.
Yeah.
The podcast episodes are out in the world and are scheduled to be out in the world now. What surprised you the most now that it's out and in the world? Any kind of thing that just went, oh, I didn't see that one.
Well, it surprised me how fast it became a thing. I don't know how to say that. All of a sudden, wait, we have a YouTube channel. Wait, that's our pictures. Oh my gosh, and how many people have looked at it? And all of a sudden it's a thing. It's not theory anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to describe what that means, but that's essentially what happened
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, and I got to go in next week and shoot another one.
Yeah.
So
Oh boy, here we go.
here we go.
Yeah.
So that was, and I don't know if that's a big surprise. It's just a reality.
Yeah, I think that emotion of, we now have, it's a thing. Like it was an idea here 3 months ago, and now it's a thing that's in the world that people can consume. And there's an emotional piece there, right? There's an emotional like, oh man, it is a thing. And that's really, really cool to think of it that way, in the sense that 3 months ago there wasn't anything,
Right.
and now we have something. And so I could see where that's a little bit of a surprising.
Well, and it's a whole for us in our business, which has spent most of our time either standing in front of people talking or sitting across from a person talking. Now we're sitting in front of a microphone. That's a whole thing. That's and that, I guess that's the newest thing. Realize this is now part of my life. To be honest with you, I think I prepared for that. Yeah. That this was now a part of my life, but now I'm realizing, well, it is. It's a part of my life now.
Yeah.
At least we know why we do it. This is who we are. So we have to work our lives around it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really good thing to think through, because I think a lot of coaches and consultants, even a lot of people out there, have said, man, it would be fun to start a podcast. It'd be cool to do. Maybe one day I will. But ultimately, sitting down, and even if you have a team of folks like you do to come around side of you, it's still part of life, and you have to think through it, and you have to strategically plan, and we hopefully help as best as we can to lay that framework and that groundwork for you. But ultimately, it's when you wake up tomorrow, you still got a podcast, and it's a thing that you do.
Yes. Is it fun? It is fun.
Yeah.
Is it energizing? Yes. Do I have a sense of anticipation? Yes. Is it work? Heck yes. You can't skate through this. This is who you are now.
Yeah. And I would even say that anything worthwhile doing probably comes with a little bit of elbow grease that you got to put into it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
There's nothing out there that's just easy peasy. We're sailing now. So,
no.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I love that point that you brought out there. So, now let's talk a little bit about, you could have, there's a road that you could have gone down. You could have gone the DIY route with this. We could have had a few conversations. You could have said, this is really good information. I got all that I need now. I'm going to go start a podcast and do it on my own. Many people do that. You chose the path of partnering with us, allowing us to help kind of bring that foundation for you to do the production, to do the delivery, to do the content repurpose, all of that. So I guess, why did you choose that?
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have launched. I wouldn't have done the DIY route.
It just stayed an idea.
I'm sorry.
It would have just stayed an idea.
And I wouldn't have, there's two things. No, I wouldn't have done it because I wouldn't know where to start. And it would just taken, it would have played into my insecurities about how we show up in the social media world. The second thing, and this is, I'm curious what you think about this. My daughter has a podcast, and it is shot at their desk at home. It's just, it's all virtual, and I would say it's more DIY.
Yeah.
Okay. Although her partner, her guest, or her host with her, she knows a little bit more about editing and all those kind of things.
Sure.
But it's more typical what I had heard before I talked with you, that what people want is just open up your phone and talk into your phone, and you don't need to be fancy. And I realized those. Great. I hope it works for my daughter.
Absolutely.
And I think it's and she's got a really cool podcast, but that's not me. And I wanted something, honestly, that was produced.
Yeah.
And looked good and felt good to fit. Not that the other is I mean, they look great.
Yeah.
And
You're
people
not dogging that.
No,
that
I'm not
real
dogging it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just not what I felt I wanted was something that looked more of what you've helped create at our podcast. Both of them are great. They're both great forms.
For sure.
One feels very relaxed. The other and honestly, what we do is a little more produced.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
And that speaks to that. Not only are there many ways, because we have clients that do the digital version as well at the desk and kind of and you can still make that look very, very good. But you're saying, in my personality and the things that I wanted to see, a little bit more of a studio set, a little bit more something like this that it kind of feels different than that set. And again, not right or wrong.
no, there's no
just a
right or
choice.
wrong. And they both can be very effective.
Yes.
As we know.
For sure.
And I watch podcasts that are both kinds.
Yep.
And I find them engaging. But I had to decide for me, what is it? Because after you and I met, I realized, okay, maybe I should set up my camera and go for it. And then I realized I won't.
Yeah.
I just won't for the reasons I said.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good place to be, because it sounds like you just said, look, this is what I would enjoy and what I would want to see me create. And then I don't know how to do that. So let's find the partners that can allow us to do that.
Yeah.
And then we're off to the races,
Yeah.
And
absolutely. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's cool. So now that you've created content, we've created this podcast, how has it, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I want to take this angle again. How has it changed the way you view your message, the way you view your coaching, the way that you view what you do?
Great question. And I'll have to think about that. How has it changed our message? The message is the same, but I'm realizing what I realize is that the message that the podcast now will be an additional tool. It'll do two things. It will introduce people to the idea, for example, of the Vitality Journey. Mm-hmm. So we'll draw people in, but it'll also resource people who have been our clients and are interested in further exploring the Vitality Journey.
Yeah.
So it becomes, I mean, this is saying it too lightly. It's just a massive new tool in our arsenal. Is what it is.
Yeah.
It's what we can pull out. I even said this to the group I was speaking to yesterday. I said, and by the way, it's been good to be with you, but we have resources for you. If you're interested in the Vitality Journey, if you tune into our podcast, everything I just talked about in the last 2 hours, you can get in bits and pieces going forward.
That's so good. And I love the fact that you not only remembered, but also did pitch that to the people that you're standing in front of, right? If your coaching business, your consulting business allows you to be in front of multiple people, you say, this is a tool, something that I've created to help you in this journey, to go deeper, to have your own. And that's so good, because I think sometimes people often forget that's the purpose of this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not just to find new people. It's all in that it will, but ultimately it's to help those that have come in contact with you in some way.
Well, and even if someone doesn't even consider being a client, where I hope and our desire is that each podcast is beneficial to anyone who watches it.
Dave, that's good.
So it truly is another. I would even say it's another dimension of our coaching. It would be coaching at a distance for people who. So that's the way I see it.
Well, Dave, I don't know if you realize that we named the podcast Coaching with Content because of that reality right there. Is because we strongly believe in that reality, that you can coach when you're sleeping at night, when somebody's driving down the road, listening to your voice, getting the help that they need, changing their life. Yeah. You're at home sleeping, and I love the fact that you even pointed out, because coaches, you get in the business because you want to help people, right? Yeah. And so what you even said is even if they don't become a client, which we hope they do, but if they don't, their life will be a better because they came in contact with the content that you create.
Similarly, you could do that by writing a book.
Yeah.
or publishing
Yeah.
too. And I am doing that. There's going to
Yeah.
be Vitality Journey book.
So
but
good.
but this is like the podcast is like a book. It's like introducing a chapter a week
Yeah. Yeah.
is what it is. So it has relevance to what we're publishing book wise too.
Yeah. And give it a little bit more context too, right? Like, you might write this chapter in this certain way and you kind of fill in some of the things that might have got put on the cutting room floor, right?
And it's even more engaging.
Yeah.
Because you have somebody pushing back and asking questions,
Yes.
and it's more,
Yes.
dialogue. It's more dialogue than monologue.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Well, then as we wrap up here, what's been the biggest win for you in this process, maybe personally or business wise, something that you've seen as a win?
Well, just yesterday when I had 2 potential new clients come as a result of this, we're just starting. Okay. So I'm going to call that, because that's our prime focus, I'm going to call that a win.
Yeah.
I would say on a more emotive side of things, it's a win because it's allowed, how do I say this? It's actually made me more passionate about the things I'm passionate about.
Wow.
It's raised my level of engagement even with my own material.
Wow.
And I'm not sure I could explain that, except that I'm paying more attention to it and thinking about delivering it in another context. And so I am actually more excited about what we do than I was before the podcast.
Dave, that's very much a secondary, that's not the first thing that would be on the marketing material, if you will, right?
Right.
But that is a secondary underlining thing that I didn't even see as something that was potential. Basically, you're saying, man, I'm now more passionate,
Absolutely.
more engaged, more alive, more aware of what it is that I'm teaching than I ever have before, because I decided to sit down and start a podcast that becomes the engine to all the things that I do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've just got started, so we'll see, that will probably grow.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That I never even thought of that. So that's really good. And then you said a couple new potential clients, right? You haven't inked the deal by any means, but you're what episode at the time of this recording? Episode 1 is released with
we're
with a
basically
segment
10
that we
days.
have. Yeah,
10 days since we hit the world.
and you had somebody go, "I need that."
We had 2 clients in 10 days.
Man,
So
those are some powerful wins.
Somebody out there may not seem like much to me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody raising their hand saying that's interesting to me enough to engage. And now you have that ability to open the conversation with them. That's really beautiful. So a couple of clients engaging and then seeing your content in new and fresh ways that kind of lit you up again. That's really, really cool. That's really cool. Last question here. Any other thoughts? Any other thing as far as your experience with starting a podcast? You're new to the journey. Something that you might share with everybody that would be helpful to them if they're out there going, should I do this? Should I not? Anything that comes to mind?
If you're going to do it well. Because if you don't do it well, and if you don't have a level of commitment to having a good product, you'll stop. You won't do it, and it's got to be a part of the business strategy.
Yeah.
This is part of our strategy going forward.
Yes.
And if it's not part of that, if it's some sort of you won't keep doing it. No. It's too costly time-wise. So it needs to be part of the strategy.
Yeah. It has to drive business results
Absolutely.
in some way, shape, or form, or it's just a hobby.
Exactly.
It's just a hobby. You
Yep.
got to make it something. So that's beautiful. Well, Dave, talk about, Pitch Destiny Works to us. Like, where can we find you guys? Where can we get more information? Tell us all that fun stuff.
Yeah, the easiest thing is to go to the website, which is destiny-works.com. Destiny dash is a dash between Destiny and Works. And there you'll see that, if anyone's interested in the personal coaching we offer, Some of it's on the vocational purpose side and the others on the vitality journey side. We also do workshops for both.
awesome.
Those are our prime focuses right now.
Yeah.
So go to the website, destiny-works.com.
Yeah. Yeah. All information is there. And yeah, if you're out there, you're just trying to put that life together. You're wrestling with the idea of it, going, man, I'm created for more than what I feel like I'm doing. Head on over to destiny-works.com and just start the journey. And Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring this Vitality Journey podcast to life with you. It's so beautiful. We're about to record a couple of your episodes here after we finish this one, and I can't wait to hear the content already from episode 1 and 2. I know it's changed my life just as the producer sitting in the producer seat. And so thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for being a part of the 1898 team.
Thanks, Darren.
Yeah.
Enjoy partnering with you. I really do.
That's awesome.
Great.
That's awesome. Well, hey, before you go, I want you to remember something. I want you to remember that you are an artist and that your voice matters in this world and that you are loved more than you could ever imagine. So go out and create your art, and we'll see you here next week on the Coaching with Content podcast.